welcome back to the channel. In this review, we're going to be looking at the Children of Thanos box set from Amazon. The change up a little bit in the start of the video. This set is way too big to fit in my normal review station, so I had to set up a temporary station just to shoot the intro of the video, get to show off the box and the packaging of the figures. This set is an Amazon exclusive set. My sets, you will pick up on the video, is a little dinged up on the corners, the sides, here and there, because they just shipped it inside the white mailer box. You can see, luckily I didn't get a hole punched in it, but there's a hole punched in the mailer box. The main draw for this set is going to be the new Cull Obsidian, but they've updated all the figures for the set, and you have a damaged arm for Thanos after he did the snap. Get a good look at the Cull Obsidian, Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and Ebony Maw, and of course Thanos in the center. The packaging for the set is pretty huge. For comparison, here's a standard Marvel Legends size box. On the back of the box, you have some really beautiful artwork of the characters inside the packaging. On the side, you also have artwork of the characters, their names listed. On each side, you get Thanos on top. On below, you'll get either Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive. On the other side, be Proxima Midnight and Ebony Maw. On the bottom of the box, there's Legalese barcode. And on the very top of the box, you have the broken Avengers logo. Alright, let's get this set opened up. We'll take a look at each of the figures inside. Here we have the Children of Thanos box set opened. Wait a minute. This is not right. Just a second. Let's fix this. Now that's better. This is the actual Children of Thanos box set out of the packaging. In this review, we're going to be taking a look at each of the figures and comparing them with the previous releases of each of the characters. And to start things off, well, let's take a look at Thanos himself. Let's move the rest of the Blackwater out of the way. We've seen this Thanos before, a few different iterations, different color schemes. This is the third release of this figure. First time was the Build-A-Figure. Second time was with the 3-pack with Iron Man, Doctor Strange. This one's more along the lines with the 3-pack release. They did reuse the head from the Build-A-Figure, just with a different paint scheme, color scheme. For accessories, he has a damaged arm after he does the snap, and a damaged head, which there's nothing different between the sculpt. It's just the standard Thanos head, just with a paint app applied to make it look like he's scarred up. This is the exact same head they used for one of the 3-pack heads. The arm is the only thing that's newly sculpted, and the snap hand. We finally actually have a snap hand for Thanos. I'm not real crazy about the head that's sculpted for, that is used for the Build-A-Figure. The weird, odd smirk face. As for paint apps, the paint is really nice on this figure. It should be for the third try of getting this figure right. I do like the two-tone gold, and you can see like the ornate patterns on the top of this gold armor piece around the collar. The same color gold around the back. You got the skirt piece. The gauntlets really well painted. The knee pads, I do have a little bit of a paint slop here. It's like I don't know if it's a bad sprue cut or a gob of paint thick there. And I do have a little bit of brown paint here on the leg. Other than that, it's a good looking Thanos figure. Let's go ahead and just pop out the arm. It's built on the Build-A-Figure, so it does come apart. Here we can get a look at the snap damaged arm on Thanos. It's actually very well sculpted. You can feel all the scar and burn areas are all molded in. The very damaged gauntlet. It's very loose. It doesn't have the notch peg like the regular gauntlet arm does. It just feels like it just free spins. The damaged hand. So let's put his arm back. Regular head back. Let's do a side-by-side comparison with the other two Thanoses that use this as body mold. Here we have all three Thanos figures that use this body mold. The original Build-A-Figure, the 3-pack Thanos, and this new one from the Children of Thanos box set. With the Build-A-Figure being the less accurate, screen accurate with the color scheme, The 3-pack is still my favorite, followed by the new one. This is in second place. I like the head sculpt better on the 3-pack Thanos. This is reusing the Build-A-Figure head sculpt with new paint apps. The detailing on the gold armor is a little bit better on this one compared to the 3-pack. The 3-pack's not bad at all. It has all the ornate patterns on here as well, with the same as this one. This one's a little bit better, but I do believe I want to be using this one with the snap hand on my Black Order display. Let's look at the next figure in this box set. The next figure we're looking at is Corvus Glaive. He's probably the least changed of all the figures in this set. The main difference between this version and the previous version of this figure is the glossy black and flat black combo versus the more of like a gunmetal look color to the body, and there's gloss and flat finishes of the gunmetal finish with the gold. This one uses black instead. Side by side, you can see the color difference when we'll pick up on the camera. This one uses gloss black, flat black. This uses a gloss gunmetal and a flat gunmetal. Faces are the same. There's no difference on the sculpts on these two figures. And there's no difference between this one and the previous figure. Know that you don't have limitations with the way this cape goes across the arm with the grip hand. You can't raise it out because it's bound by this cape sculpt here, the tatters section of the cape. Seems like they should have used this hand for the gripping hand, since it can actually go out with unrestricted. You get your diaphragm joint, and it's got a ball joint down at the waist as well, and twist. Ball joint hips, thigh cuts, double joint knees, hinged ankles, ankle pivots, hinge and swivel wrist, double jointed elbows, bicep cuts, disc hinge shoulders, and disc hinge neck. That's just, of course, the restriction over here. Alright, let's look at the next figure. Here we have Proxima Midnight. She received a new head, a sword, new paint job. She still has her staff weapon with the new sword. We do have this nice sword for Proxima Midnight. It's an all-new sculpt as far as I know. I don't recognize this from any other figure. The head sculpt is much more accurate to the movie. And get the original figure. Side-by-side comparison of the figures. It's not just a new paint job, it's actually a new sculpt. Here's a side-by-side of the two figures. You can see the difference in the paint jobs. The new figure, everywhere that was white on the previous figure is now a light medium gray. Everywhere that was gold is now a metallic gunmetal grayish silver. Down on the boots, the leg areas, all the paint areas shares the exact same paint apps except for on the chest. The line here is in black. They just left it in gray on the new figure. On the original figure, it's more like the color scheme is probably closer to the comics than on the movie. I do like the pearl white on the original figure. Kind of like to see someone actually make some comic style heads for the older figures. Some people that don't like to keep doubles in their collection, they can actually, if we can get some comic style heads replaced on these figures, that'd be a nice addition for your collection. Now, let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next figure. Next up's Ebony Maw. He gets an all-new head sculpt, new paint job. The head sculpt is a lot more movie accurate. You have the more hair on the back of the head. The faces are very similar. The biggest difference I can see is the paint and the hair. I wonder if this is just a hairpiece over top this head. Okay, I just took a quick look at the heads. These are the same heads, they're just new hair pieces. You can see the hairpiece on this one is actually glued on the original head. So even though this one is glued on as well, they just sculpted a new hairpiece to go onto the previous head. So it almost looks like the meant for it to be this way in the first place, because there's the the edge of the line where they glued the new hair too. Other than the new hairpiece, the new paint job, the figures are exactly the same. You have the base color of his outfit's black instead of gray, dark gray. You do have some differences in the way the paints are applied on the figure. You have gold on these buttons down here. The gold on this figure is a little brighter than on this figure. You have two-tone grays are different on the loincloth area. And on the back, you have the area here is the colors picked out with a light gray, the accent color. And they have a darker gray on here. And the boots are in black instead of gray. I don't know, I like the color scheme they went with this figure. It looks really nice. And the addition of the new hairpiece does look better than on the original figure. The hands are the same sculpt as well. Nothing's changed on here. Except they've changed to actually... Wait a minute. They didn't paint the rings on the front, the index finger on this hand. And what about this hand? Same with on the other hand, as they didn't paint the rings on this finger. Are they even sculpted? Yeah, they didn't sculpt the index ring fingers on either hand. Here's a nice side-by-side shot of the two figures for comparison of. Alright, let's go to the next figure, which will be the main draw for this entire box set. Okay, here we have Cull Obsidian. I feel Cull Obsidian is actually the main draw for this box set for a lot of people. The original figure was done by early concepts of the character, so the figure was very inaccurate to the movies. It is more looks more like the comic style Cull Obsidian, or Black Dwarf as he's known in the comics. He gets an all new body, new torso, new hips, new legs, new feet. The only reuse on this figure is the arms and the head. He gets a new weapon. He gets his pickaxe weapon. Let's look at all the new sculpted parts on Cull Obsidian. He has like I said, an all new torso, new bandolier, sculpted battle damage into the chest. Nice paint details through here and around the ab section. It wraps all the way around. The details come up from the back. On the loincloth piece, he has looks like the Captain Marvel colors bandana. A lot of people speculated before the movie that he'd fought Captain Marvel before. End up not being the case. Like all the silver accents on the armored pieces. Like the silver accents here, down the leg, the pin strap down the leg. These are our new knee sculpts as well. New shins. And of course new boots, because he had bare feet on the original figure. And his face is very nicely painted. It is the previous head sculpt, just new paint job. Let's do a quick little rundown on articulation, because since this was basically almost all new figure for this wave. His head's on a disc hinge. You can look up, down, 360. Yes, don't really have too much tilt. The shoulders are on disc hinges, but they are restricted to the sculpt of the arms. This is as far as you can get the arm to go out. 360 has a bicep swivel, single jointed elbow. This hand is hinged vertically for holding melee weapons. This hand is hinged horizontally, single jointed elbow here, but on this side you're going to have a little more restrictions. With the bicep swivel, I can't get it to turn because of the shoulder armor. And with the chest, there's a diaphragm joint up top. You can crunch back, crunch forward. It can rotate a little bit up there. He also has a waist twist, ball joint hips, thigh cuts, double joint knees. He can actually kick his upper back. It was impressive, such a big figure. Hinged ankles. They can't really go down that much. Up just really not at all. Fraction a little bit up. And he does have ankle pivots. With his weapon, it's more accurate to the movie. It's more like a pickaxe style weapon. It looks like it's pieced out of junk scrap metal to me, but seems like they would have come up with a little different design than that. When you look at it, it's like it's bolted together in pieces. Don't seem like it would be a very strong weapon if you bolt it up in sections. Getting them to hold this new weapon is a little difficult. Let's bring in the previous figure, get a little side-by-side look at it. So you can see, this one has the same issue with the articulation-wise. The arms can only go up so far because of the sculpt on the shoulders. But this one doesn't have the restriction of the bicep swivel on this side. Now we get a different forearm too, notice. Because this one has the plug for this armor piece on the forearm. This one doesn't, the new one does not. But other than that, it's the same. That's the only feathers. The arms, the head, minus the different forearm. It's the same figure, same hands. Oh, no. Yes, yep, they're the same hands. This one has an armor piece painted onto the hand. The armor sculpt is still on the new figure, but it's not been painted. With them redesigning this whole figure to be more accurate to the movie, it's kind of a letdown the fact they didn't. You have no way to move the arm past this much out. It's even worse on this side because the shoulder pad and restricting the bicep swivel. So you got very limited articulation on this figure, on the arms itself. You can swing the pickaxe. The pickaxe is kind of heavy, and the detents are a little too soft, so it can barely hold its weapon up. Kind of wish they spent a little more time re-engineering these arms and making the connection points a little tighter. Will it come out like the Build-A-Figure? It will not. The main draw for the set is to get more screen-accurate versions of the Black Order or the Children of Thanos or whatever you want to call them. The updates to the figures do look nice. They are, without doubt, more screen-accurate to the movies. So they've had plenty enough time to perfect the sculpts and get them more accurate without having to work with production sketches, designs. Would have liked to have all the different head sculpts for Thanos, though. With all the previous releases we've had of Thanos, there are a couple of head sculpts we could have added to the box set. So we are in a premium price to get this box set. And especially with the main draw being Cull Obsidian, which is kind of disappointing, the fact that his arms are so limited in articulation. The body does look great in comparison with these arms do not function very well with the shoulders movement and the complete lack of being able to move the bicep on the other arm. But overall, I'm still happy with getting the figures to be more accurate to the movie. I will not be getting rid of my original figures because this Cull Obsidian, I'll be using them as a comic Black Dwarf. Love to get some heads for the previous figures so I can make them more like comic book versions of themselves. If you look at the price of the set, it's really not that bad. You would consider these two would be deluxe releases. If they did them individually, they'd be 30 and 30, 20, 20, and 20. So it's $120 if you bought the whole set individually. So at the current price point, it's not that bad. Would I recommend the set? If you're an MCU fan, it's a must-get set if you want accurate versions of the characters. I would like to thank everyone taking the time to watch the video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. It helps us on the channel. If you don't do that, we don't get recommended by the algorithm. Every little bit helps the channel grow. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video.